Right, so first up, we have Joe Franchetti, who's going to talk to us about Lego in a washing machine. Bear with us because we've got a lot of interchanging to do.
Let's see if we can present. If no, no, they are up there. Okay. Never mind. All right, we're ready to go. Thanks, Barry. I like that you're starting with children's toys and ending with things you can learn from children. Good bookending. Can you hear me? Awesome. So, as it says, my name is Joe, and I am here to talk to you about what happens when you put Lego in a washing machine. A lot of people saw this title and they were like, is it a clever way of describing something? And no, genuinely, it is about putting Lego in a washing machine. Now, some of you might have had Lego that you've had since you were a child, and Lego probably is in need of a wash. And so you might put it through your washing machine. And if you've ever done that, you might discover that something kind of interesting happens. If you break up the Lego into single bricks and then you put it through a wash, you'll find that what happens is that the Lego bricks join together and they create these things called complexes. At least that's what people in the Lego washing game are calling them. So what's a complex? Well, essentially, it's when you have bricks that join together. The interesting things about complexes are the number of bricks in the complex, the orientation of the bricks in the complex, and also this thing called clutch, which is how well together the Lego is joined. So this is what we would call a simple complex, but there's also what is called a non-simple complex, which is what the AFOLs call them. These are adults who are fans of Lego, and they call them snot complexes, which is when the studs are not on top. So this is an example of a snot complex. So sometimes you can get complexes out which are really quite beautiful, and this, yeah, I know, right? It looks like a Mondrian. It's kind of amazing. And there's some sort of technically interesting things about complexes. So if you consider the number of bricks involved in putting a whole tub of bricks through a wash, and the colors and the different sizes and the different orientations that they could come out with, we're talking a giant number of available complexes. And so the washing machine acts like a random sampler, and it picks complexes from this almost infinite number of options. And the name given to a sampler like that is a Monte Carlo sampler. And the idea of that is that when you have maybe something, sorry. So if you have a lot of algorithms that you need to do on something, you give it random numbers and use those random numbers to generate answers to your algorithms, and you can use those to make guesses about what it is that your algorithm might be. In this case, we could make guesses about what complexes might come out of a certain set of Lego. Monte Carlo procedures are usually spoken about with regards to computers, but in this case, it works for a washing machine. So an example of a Monte Carlo procedure would be taking a box full of 1-penny coins and tipping them out on a table, counting the outcome of heads and tails, and you can use that to guess what the outcome of flipping a coin would be. Oh. So there's a kind of impressive example of the use of the Monte Carlo technique, and that is when people were first writing computers to play Go. And when they first started doing this, the computers were losing massively to humans. Like, humans were beating them all the time. they decided to start using the Monte Carlo technique to randomly play games from a certain point on a Go machine, and that is when computers started beating humans at Go. And computers are now beating humans at Go like 99% of the time. There's also the interesting idea of it as a experimental mechanism in the field of artificial life. So artificial life is thought of as when computational objects act in a way that is a lifelike kind of behavior. So, I mean, we could think of this as, you know, the creation of an organism, maybe. Or, as it says there, the idea of the formation of amino acids in the primordial soup. What happened there was they mixed water, ammonia, methane, and hydrogen in a sterile flask and put electricity through it, and amino acids were formed randomly. This is very similar to what happens when you put Lego through a washing machine. So we spoke about complexes being created, but they also actually can decay. And I actually forgot to take a photo of this, and this is really annoying me. I put 13 white double towers of 4x2, 15 red, 7 blue, and 5 yellow into a washing machine, and this is what came out at the end. So you can see not only have some of them decayed, but they've then created towers after decaying. And this is what excites the people who put Lego through a washing machine. So, I mean, you know, it's not all science, we can have fun as well. So if you ever feel like putting your Lego through a washing machine, there are some games that you can play. So the first game that I came up with is Lego Bingo. And the idea is you take some Lego pieces, you create some complexes that you think might come out with the washing machine, and you put all your Lego through the wash, and then you get points if your complex comes out. I recommend ignoring colors because otherwise you're going to have 0 winners. And the other idea is the idea of creating a Lego enzyme. So if anyone's got a background in biology. So the idea with this one is you create something that you might consider beautiful or you might think is interesting, and you put it through the wash with a load of other separated blocks. And if your enzyme comes out at the end without having been changed, then you get a point. You get more points if your enzyme creates other interesting complexes. So if you are going to do this, don't put tiny bits of Lego through your wash. Also, don't put Lego that you are fond of through your wash, because it does get quite worn. Thank you for listening to me talk silly things about Lego. I'm Jo.